While members of Congress were making their case either for or against impeaching Donald Trump, the ever-intellectual Republican lawmaker Louie Gohmert took the stand and made an impassioned speech about this nation's history. Let's hear what he had to say.
By the Democrats taking this action, you're telling me, no, when we say those, we actually mean to incite violence. That's what this action is saying. Look, I just looked on the History Channel. It says these words: if the Judiciary Committee, talking about impeachment, finds sufficient grounds, its members write and pass articles of impeachment, which then go to the full House for a vote. Half of all the impeachments ever conducted, ever voted for, occurred under this speaker. You're setting a precedent that says very clearly, because this impeachment isn't going to work, but it is setting the precedent. Unlike a year ago when we said, look, it shouldn't go through Intel, it should go through Judiciary Committee. Forget that. Now the message is, if you have a whim and you want to just go after a president, just go straight to the floor.
So the House of Representatives did vote to impeach Donald Trump for the second time today. So Trump has made history. He's the first president to get impeached twice. And they did so with the help of 10 Republican lawmakers. So congratulations to Louie Gohmert for learning about history through watching the History Channel. But I do find it pretty deplorable that he chose to really home in on the procedures that took place as opposed to the real threat that became apparent in the Capitol when these insurrectionists breached the Capitol building, rioted, and killed 5 people. Didn't really care that much about that, but you know, the Judiciary Committee. Yeah, okay. I'm glad that you're concerned about that. Of course he's not. He doesn't care about the procedure. He's just trying to deflect. He's garbage. And the fact that he didn't, I just watched the History Channel, and this is. Are you like for the first time learning how impeachment proceedings happen? Really? Like, and that's your big.
Just a year ago. How does he not remember?
Because
the whole thing. Are you implying that he sounds dumb, Anna? Because I'm going to need some evidence for that.
It's very. I'm overt about it. Louie Gohmert is among
sounding people.
Yes. Yeah. Sounding. No, dumbest.
So here, Louie Gohmert is obviously leaving out a little bit of context. He said, half of all the impeachments ever have occurred under this speaker. Well, to be fair, they've also occurred under this president. So that's another link. And also he said, well, now anytime you have a whim, you can go after the president. Well, to be fair, anytime you have a whim, and he whipped a mob up into a fury and they went and killed a bunch of people, then yes, that's a precedent that has been set. Like, Trump is by far the craziest president we've had in over a century. And that led to impeachments. What reasonable person didn't think that it was going to, honestly, if the Democrats actually had control? And the precedent. Marjorie Taylor Greene on the 21st is gonna be putting forward articles of impeachment against Biden. Do we think that she wouldn't do that if they hadn't impeached Trump today? No. There are precedents that are being set. It's not the ones that Louie Gohmert is focusing on. And by the way, I think one of the reasons that Louie Gohmert is not focusing on the violence, and doesn't seem to care about the fact that people who probably love everything that he says beat a cop to death with an American flag and a fire extinguisher, is in the run-up to those demonstrations on just 4 days earlier, actually, on Newsmax, he said, but if bottom line is the court is saying we're not going to touch this, you have no remedy. Basically, in effect, the ruling would be that you got to go to the streets and be as violent as Antifa and BLM.
Yep.
4 days before, he told them to riot and be violent. And he'll later claim that they are just Antifa, but how's he going to tell the difference? He told them to be as violent as Antifa. And so it's amazing that he has avoided any, like his name hasn't really come up like Ted Cruz and Hawley and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Boebert and all that. He was like more directly inspiring people to violence than any other person here, up to like right on the same level as Trump, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, other Trump bootlickers, people like Rudy Giuliani, literally used the phrase trial by combat. Trial by combat. Like come on, I mean, anyone who's denying that there was an incitement of violence right before, or for not even right before, I mean, for weeks leading up to the insurrectionist riots in the Capitol, they're lying to you. They're intentionally deceiving you. One of the other common lies that apparently has worked with Trump's base, and it blows my mind. Like, they think that the insurrectionists weren't actually insurrectionists. It was BLM. It was Black Lives Matter. Because Black Lives Matter consists of a bunch of young white guys who riot while wearing hoodies celebrating Auschwitz.
That sounds about right.
Just look at the crowd. Look at look. Oh, anyway, but I can't take the lunacy anymore, and I don't know if it's going to get better. And I think it's like a combination of so many different issues. We do have a problem with, extremist propaganda really resonating with Trump's base. We also have a problem with mental health, issues that go untreated because of how broken our healthcare system is. Like, there are a lot of people out there who have untreated mental health issues, like across the board. Obviously, not just Trump's loyalists, but I just think that and then we also live in a sea of guns. And during the pandemic, gun sales really spiked. We're seeing, by the way, a lot of gun violence in Los Angeles. It has spiked considerably during the pandemic. That's a different story. But my point is, we have all of these societal issues that have further exacerbated the violence that's being incited by Donald Trump and his loyalists.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.